How to create a study application. This video will guide you through a series of steps necessary to submit a study application within the Huron Research Suite. This tutorial will cover the following topics: how to determine research category and corresponding documents, how to navigate the Huron Research Suite for guidance and templates, how to create and submit a study application, what is the review process and timeline for a study approval, and how to address clarification requests and update study documents. When it comes to creating a new study application within the Huron Research Suite, it is essential to start with determining the category for the level of review that your research falls under. There are 6 main categories for the level of review that a research project must undergo. Not human subjects research, which uses existing de-identified information or biospecimens, or research that does not aim to produce generalizable results, such as program evaluations or quality improvement projects. Exempt, which includes research that only poses informational risks, such as educational research or survey and interview research. Exempt secondary research, which uses identifiable private information or biospecimens for secondary analysis. Expedited, which includes low-risk research that does not fit the exempt categories. Expedited review categories include research on drugs or devices that are already approved, blood draws, non-invasive collection of biospecimens, collection of data by non-invasive procedures that do not fit under the exempt review category, using data or biospecimens that are collected for the reasons other than this research, data from voice or video recordings, and data on group characteristics or behavior that does not qualify for exempt review due to vulnerable populations, potential physical or psychological risks, or data that requires consent. Full board review includes research that goes beyond minimal risk, meaning that the study procedure puts participants in situations not commonly encountered in daily life. An external IRB. While not a review level, review of approved studies through an agreement between Nemours, Orlando Health, and/or Advent Health requires a UCF IRB external review submission process. The chart displayed on screen shows the various protocol and consent templates that each human subjects research category requires. For more details, review IRB Guidance Number 7, Study Application Instructions, found within the Huron Library. In addition to the protocol and consent templates that your study application might require, there are additional documents that must be uploaded within your study application. An effective way to think through additional documents is to consider what research materials will be seen or heard by research subjects before, during, and after the course of your study procedure. These include materials that help to collect data and screen or recruit participants. You might also be required to submit letters of support depending on the population or the data that you're accessing to conduct your research. For example, if I'm a researcher who plans to conduct an interview study where participants will be recruited through email and flyers dispersed in physical locations, additional documents should at least include the flyer that will be used for recruitment, the questions that will be presented to participants, the recruitment email template, and the intake survey that helps to screen for qualified participants. Note, depending on your study design, you may need additional documents that are not listed on screen. If you need assistance, please refer to your research advisor or an expert in your field of research. Up to this point, we have discussed research categories and some necessary documentation to be included within your study application. Some of these documents start with templates created by the UCF IRB, and others are self-authored. To find the most up-to-date protocol and consent templates provided by the IRB, you can use the Huron Library. To find Huron Library, start on the Huron Research Suite dashboard and select IRB. Then select Library from the secondary drop-down menu. Once on the library page, select Templates on the far right. All templates start with HRP followed by 3 numbers. It is important that the protocol and/or consent templates that you choose correspond with the research category review level discussed previously and are the most up-to-date versions. Another great feature of the Huron Library is the General tab. The General tab houses every guidance document offered by UCF's IRB. It is best practice to refer to these guidance documents prior to any inquiries with the IRB. Some important guidance documents to look out for are the HRP 103 Investigator Manual, the IRB Guidance Number 7 Study Application Instructions, and the IRB Guidance Number 2 Data Security Best Practices. The following section offers an example of creating an application for a study with an exempt review level. Note, this tutorial will not review the content of the study documents being submitted. For guidance on the development of any self-authored study materials or templates, please refer to your faculty research advisor or the General tab within the Huron Library. From the Huron dashboard, select IRB on the top navigation bar. To begin a new study application, select Create New Study on the left side of the IRB homepage. Starting with basic study information, include a title of your study, a shortened title, a brief description of the study, including central questions, objectives, and methods. Clarify if your study is multi or single site. Is your study being reviewed by an external IRB? Select yes if the IRB other than UCF's will review and make a determination on your study. Assign the local principal investigator. Note, the user who initially creates the study application on the Huron Research Suite will automatically be listed as the local principal investigator. For study applications being completed by an undergraduate student, the student's faculty research advisor must be listed as the local principal investigator. To reassign the local principal investigator, select the ellipse and search for the local principal investigator to be listed on the study. Next, disclose whether the local principal investigator has a financial interest related to the research. Lastly, attach the complete protocol that corresponds with your study review level by selecting Add. Then choose File. Upon uploading your protocol, you can rename the file and add a version number. Note, if the basic study information page is not complete, you cannot save or proceed to the remainder of the study application. Select Continue. If you have any study funding sources, you can identify them by selecting Add, and be sure to include your UCF Grants Office ID number where asked. The number will start with FP or AWD. If not, proceed by selecting Continue. On the Local Study Team Members page, you can identify any internal or external team members involved in the design, conduct, or reporting of the research. To add a team member from UCF, select Add. You can search for the team member by selecting the ellipse under Study Team Member. Identify their role in the research, whether they are involved in any consent processes and have a financial interest or access to private or identifiable data. If your study includes any researchers outside of the University of Central Florida, complete the HRP 253 found in the Huron Library under Templates, and upload this into the external team member information. Note, if you're an undergraduate student completing a study application, it is important that you list yourself as a local study team member, along with revising the local principal investigator in the basic study information page mentioned previously. If you're a graduate student completing the study application, you will list your faculty research advisor on the local study team members page. Select Continue. On the study scope page, disclose whether your study design utilizes a drug or biologic along with a humanitarian use device if applicable. Select Continue. If your research takes place in a physical location, identify where the research activities will be conducted. Select Add to input the research location information. Then select Continue. On the local site documents page, you will include any additional documentation. If your study review level requires consent documents such as the HRP 254, HRP 502, or HRP 502B, upload them by selecting Add and then follow the standard procedure for uploading files discussed previously. Next, upload your recruitment materials. Then, upload other attachments. Note, the best way to understand which documents should be uploaded into each section is to determine what materials can be seen by potential research subjects. These are recruitment materials. And what materials will research subjects encounter upon joining the study procedure, along with any letters of support or testing instruments. These are other attachments. Select Continue to proceed to the UCF Additional Information page. Next, select the status of the local principal investigator listed on the study application. Disclose whether the research will take place online. Identify if the research includes any of the following populations or devices. Disclose whether the study involves accessing student, employee, or medical records at UCF or non-institutional study populations, such as public school students, hospital patients, etc. And lastly, identify if the research will be conducted internationally in an in-person setting. If so, see Guidance Document Number 1, International Research, in the Huron Library for more details. Select Continue, and then Finish. After selecting the Finish button, you will be brought back to your study workspace. For your study application to be received by the designated reviewers, you must select the Submit button located under Printer Version. Prior to submitting, you should make sure that your application meets all basic submission requirements, which will be discussed in the next section. Note, only the principal investigator for a study has access to the Submit button. If you're an undergraduate researcher, the research advisor listed as local principal investigator on your study must submit. Select Submit. After submitting, you can confirm that your study application has been received by reviewing the flowchart on your study workspace. You should see that the flowchart has shifted from pre-submission to pre-review. The expected approval time for study applications ranges from 2 to 6 weeks, depending on graduate school submission deadlines and overall quality of study applications. The review process for a study application includes pre-review, IRB review, and post-review. In the pre-review period, your study application will undergo a review of completeness, consistency, and compliance with applicable regulations, including the appropriate review level. Additionally, to pass this phase of the review process, all basic submission requirements must be met. Basic submission requirements include all documents are complete and clean, meaning that no track changes or comments are left on the document. All templates match your study category and are not outdated. All study team members have completed city training. This is not required for non-human subjects research determinations. All documents are uploaded in the correct area of the application. And documents are submitted as Word documents unless the document is a validated measure. If your application does not meet these requirements during the pre-review process, your study will be withdrawn and a clarification request will be attached to your study workspace, allowing you to make necessary changes for approval. Once your study passes the pre-review, it will enter the queue where it will be assigned to one of our expert reviewers. These reviewers will examine the content of your application, paying special attention to ensuring compliance with applicable regulations. If any section within your study application needs edits, reviewers will submit a clarification request on your study workspace, including any documents that need to be revised, along with instructions on how to proceed. In the study documents attached to your clarification request, reviewers may leave comments or track changes. Note, in most cases, the local principal investigator or primary contact listed on the study application will receive an email notifying them of any clarification requests posted to their study workspace. After passing the IRB review, your study will enter post-review, where your designated reviewer will finalize all your documents and prepare your approval letter. Upon approval, you can locate your determination letter on your study workspace. The following section showcases how to address a clarification request, from making changes to updating the documents within the Huron application portal. To review a clarification request, return to your study workspace. This can be done by selecting the IRB tab, selecting the Active or All Submissions tab, and then selecting or searching for your study. Note, you may also locate your study workspace within the Huron dashboard under Recently Viewed. Click your study name to display your study workspace. You should see that the flowchart on your study workspace has shifted to Clarification Requested. To address the clarification request, scroll down to view the study history. For each clarification requested, a designated reviewer will list all required changes and attach any necessary documents. Let's review the following example together. For this study, a pre-reviewer has requested that the following changes be made. Add faculty advisor to the local study team members page. Move the consent form to the correct location within the study application. And remove track changes and comments within a study document. To make any edits on your study submission, navigate to Edit Study on your study workspace. From here, you can make edits to any sections within your study application you originally submitted. Let's start by adding a faculty advisor to the local study team members page. Advance to Local Study Team Members. Select Add. You can search for the team member by selecting the ellipse under Study Team Member. Then, identify their role in the research, whether they have engaged in the consent process, have a financial interest, or have access to private or identifiable data. Then select OK. Next, let's adjust the location of the consent form, which was uploaded within the protocol under Basic Study Information. To make changes, remove the consent form from the protocol submission by selecting the X. Next, navigate to Local Site Documents. Under Consent Forms, select Add. Attach the consent document file, rename it if you need to, and give it a version number. For the final clarification, we must remove track changes and comments from a study document we previously submitted. First, find the document referenced by your reviewer. In this example, the reviewer attached the document with comments and track changes to their most recent clarification request. Download and open the file in Microsoft Word. To address track changes, select the Review tab on the top navigation ribbon. Then, select Tracking on the far right. Select Accept to address the track change or Reject to ignore it. It looks like there are some comments to remove as well. To remove a comment, first, select the comment. Then, select the ellipse. And finally, delete thread. Great. Now that we have made those changes, let's see how to update our document submission within the Huron application. Return to your study workspace. Select Edit Study. From here, locate the original document within your study application. Rather than deleting the original document, it is important to use the Update feature. This allows designated reviewers to see each version of your documentation, ensuring that each change is tracked within the Huron Research Suite. Select Update. Attach the updated document. And update the version number. Then, select OK. When you are ready to submit your clarification, return to your study workspace. On the left-hand side under Edit Study and Printer Version, select Submit Response. Provide a list of changes that were made as well as any justification for changes not mentioned in the clarification request. This marks the end of our tutorial on how to create a study application. If you have any questions pertaining to your study application, please reach out to the IRB team by emailing irb@ucf.edu or schedule a one-on-one appointment with the IRB ambassador or IRB office hours by scanning the QR codes displayed on screen.